The author of The Martian, which you might have seen the movie starring Matt Damon, wrote a story called The Egg, where someone asks God for the purpose of life. So what's the point of it all, he says. The meaning of life, God says, the reason I made this whole universe is for you to mature. Just you. I made this whole universe just for you. With each new life, you grow and mature and become a larger and greater intellect. Just me? He asks. What about everyone else? There is no one else, God says. In this universe, there's just you and me. We all exist as part of one single cosmic self for the more bright and vivid experience of the Creator by itself. We are, in ourselves, the expression of one single universal cosmic self. Every time you victimize someone, God says, you were victimizing yourself. Every act of kindness you've done to yourself. Every happy and sad moment ever experienced by any human was or will be experienced by you. Because someday you will become like me, because that's what you are. You're one of my kind. You're my child. What God is saying here is that humans, the universal self, is made in his image and likeness, and each being, each life, each attempt at existence is a unique expression of God's existence. And as we grow up and mature and participate in the process of reality self-identification, we are ultimately fulfilling our purpose for which we are created. But this guy, not fully understanding, he says, whoa, you said, incredulous. You mean I'm a god? No, not yet. You're a fetus. You're still growing. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you will have grown enough to be born. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you will have grown enough to be born. So the whole universe, he says, it's just, God answers, an egg. The whole universe, it's just an egg. Our purpose is intrinsic to the universe. We exist for the purpose of the self-experience and self-knowledge of God. It is our being that justifies being. The whole universe is just an egg, a place to be born and a place to die, a place to live, to serve, to love, to learn, and grow to live out our authentic expression as a being created in the image and likeness of God. So why are we here? This is an important question because existence is fundamentally strange. It is weird that we are plopped into this reality that we know nothing about. We don't know why we're born. We didn't choose to be born to our recollection. And the facts of our conscious life are not immediately apparent to us. It's not obvious what this material reality is. It is weird that we are here and we are experiencing something because we define perception through contrast. When I look at that wall over there, I'm looking at everything that is not that wall and saying that defines the boundary, and then what I am looking at is that to which I'm applying my attention. So we're always defining our perception through contrast with something else. But with reality, when we are defining perception itself, there is no contrast. It is all that we have ever apprehended the universe from. So to see the universe from any other lens, from outside of existence, is almost paradoxical. We see everything that is not, but we never perceive what is. Ultimate reality is not perceptual. We cannot directly see this metaphysical structure unless we have aligned our narrow frame of consciousness with these deep principles of what reality is. And the cognitive theoretic model of the universe, the CTMU, are the glasses we need, the lens that we need to put on ourselves of logical understanding in order to see reality as it truly is, rather than as it appears. What is it? The CTMU answers the question through the process of reality, is that reality answers this question through experience, through life. Reality is a self-resolving paradox, and the answer is to grow up, is that just like a fetus will not fully understand why it is there. It doesn't really understand much of anything, but it's learning, it's growing, it's developing. So too, when we are participating in teleology, the purpose and end of the universe, we're helping resolve some of the confusion that is given by our thrownness here. This is a term Heidegger uses. He calls it Dasein, of being. Is the fact of being is that we are thrown into a universe that we do not fundamentally understand what it is. And that means that we are always going to be a little bit confused, right? But the purpose is not to understand everything. The purpose is just to grow up. The purpose is to participate and follow the rules of what reality wants for us. The universe is a self-simulation. It is Maya. It is illusion, magic, creative power. It is beautiful and deep. Reality is a play or performance for the bright and vivid experience of the creator by itself. The one infinite creator locally forgets itself for the purpose of deeper understanding, you see. So reality is a playful creation. It's God playing hide and seek with himself. It is, basically a game of peekaboo. We're the infant. We're the person who's fascinated by this simple expression of hiding and then revealing. And once we get to that revealing, that is when we learn to recognize faces. When we can recognize ourself in the other is when we have truly developed. So recognizing ourself in others, this is what it says in the Bible. King David writes, "In your light do we see light." So that means that when we recognize ourselves in the ultimate reality, that is when we can then understand, wait, actually, all the other people, they're just like us. And that we can actually understand our place and purpose within reality and unite as one. Because life is one. Everything, all of existence is oneness. Life is like music. Its meaning is inherent in its expression. You cannot just read it off of a sheet. You have to actually play it. It cannot be abstracted or translated. It's just being. It just exists. It is just the only way that you can apprehend it is by playing it. The challenge is simply to exist. And how do you best express existence? It is growing up. It is maturing. It is teleology. Our purpose lies in our being. You are what you do, more or less. So if you want to be perfectly, then you have to do perfectly. Then you have to actually do things correctly. You have to commit yourself to right principles and right thinking. And life doesn't happen out of obligation, but out of creative freedom. So you actually are a self-determining observer of reality, which means that you can pick your response to this world. You can be purely evil and degenerate. You can be good and holy. But if you want to actually help out reality and use your creative freedom beneficially, then you have to align yourself with teleological evolution. Is that this is not an obligation. You don't have to do this, but you really ought to, because it is what is done for God is ultimately done for yourself, because God is your highest level of identity. Therefore, if you can attune yourself to the patterns and relationships of reality, then you can find freedom, and you will understand that this world is truly playful. It's actually quite enjoyable to be good and to help out in the purpose of the universe. The true understanding of reality and right action, right participation in reality will set you free from this limited construct of confusion. You will no longer be confused when you are living correctly. Be here now. Reality is this. This is reality. And the correct way to live is simply to participate the best in experience and create the best possible experience for others, to help others out, to make others happy, and to contribute to peace and fulfillment of the entire world, because everything that happens to everyone else and to everything else is also happening to you. So for us at this time, what is our purpose? And this is a very, very deep and involved question, because the earth itself probably wonders why humans are here. The earth is like, okay, well, this is theoretically the front lines of biological evolution. This is the ultimate purpose. What the hell are humans doing here? They don't seem to understand anything at all. They're, totally fighting each other. They're not really understanding these principles of coherence. In fact, they're doing a lot that is very anti-coherent, that is very anti-teleological. But the reason why we're here in the first place is to return the earth as a gift to the creator. Is that the creator created earth created, the creator created humans through the earth, and then we are meant to actually sacralize and develop the earth. We are meant to turn this into a holy icon, so to speak, of the divine. Is that humans have now reached the terminus of physical and spiritual evolution, and we now approach a decision point. Is that we have to decide whether we will live our lives in service to self, which will be a very painful and tyrannical society, or we will live in service to others, which could be a very beautiful world that our heart knows is possible, but nevertheless we have failed to actualize up to this point. Is that these two poles represent the human and tech singularity. We'll have a human singularity when we commit ourselves to service to others. That means that we will no longer be thinking in our societal and governmental systems about how to serve ourselves, about how to serve those in power, but rather will have this kind of distributed kind of freedom whereby every human is participating in the destiny of mankind, is that we all have a say, and it's a more democratic way than just having everything being controlled from the top down. In the same way, if we have a tech singularity, it will be precisely the opposite, is that those with the power and capital, which is basically money, in order to control the technology, which can be used as a means of suppressing or indoctrinating others, or even surveilling others so that they are unable to resist your kind of iron-fisted tyranny, that could also happen. And the main point of human life at this time is to choose one of these poles, and we should choose the human singularity because that aligns with the teleology and purpose of the universe, of freedom and sovereignty versus compulsion or control. And I believe that the next generation is primed for planetary unity, is that we are actually tending in this direction. Even as things appear to be getting worse from the outside, it's like a soap bubble that is expanding and expanding, and yes, it is growing in its influence, but the structure of the systems of global control are getting thinner and thinner, and eventually they're going to pop. And what we need is a coherent opposition, is a alternative worldview and structure of society that we can put forward and say this is actually a better principle than what we were previously operating on. And that means that we need to have an understanding of humans' presence on Earth as part of a grand cosmic design and align our alternative institutions with that design, with that teleology, and have a CTMU movement that can push forward mental and spiritual evolution. Humanity could be the greatest civilization in the universe if we unite as a planetary civilization. I mean, look up at the stars. Look who created these, who sends out their hosts by count, as it says in the Bible. It's God. God is responsible for all purpose and existence. If we can turn back to God, then we are going to automatically solve some of these problems which seem completely irresolvable. Humanity did not arise as a product of chance, but as an intentional expression of the Earth's purpose. And us fulfilling the Earth's purpose will likewise not happen by chance, but as a result of our intentional effort. Our lifetimes are significant on the grand cosmic scale. Yes, if you put Earth's time on like a clock, yes, we're in like the last 3 seconds. We just emerged at the very end of earthly history, billions of years before us. But those 3 seconds can change everything. We hold intrinsic significance and can create meaning and purpose for the universe. Our meaning is an expression of the universal purpose. We look for meanings in different philosophies and religions and ideologies, but the CTMU gives authentic purpose because it says that our purpose is reality's purpose. We are all part of one universal self, and we are interconnected in ways that are not discernible on this plane of existence. Therefore, we are best off when we are in service to others and service to God. The meaning of life is found in service. And often in our lives, even in love for God or for others, the deeper yearning remains undefined. What are we truly seeking? The CTMU gives the answer. We are seeking ultimate reality. Like a great photograph, the CTMU reveals the inherent significance of ordinary objects, helping us see the world anew. The world justifies itself in the act of being. There is no deeper explanation needed. Ontology is epistemology. The study of being is the same as the study of knowledge. There is no deeper explanation. Reality's answer to itself is the act of being. The purpose of existence is pure being, and pure being is expressed not through passiveness, but rather through teleology, through active service to God and service to humanity. That which justifies human existence is teleology, the purpose and end of the universe. Our purpose is this moment. That is enough. It is to love one another, to choose love over conflict, to live fully, and to serve in all that you do. You are more important than you realize. And if you can fulfill that purpose, if you can fulfill that importance, you are unstoppable. You are reality. Let the light shine forth in the darkness. Let the peace of our Father in heaven be upon you. Like and subscribe. Peace.